One of the nice new features in the advanced feature set for PocketBible for iOS is what we call Autostudy. The purpose of Autostudy is to automatically gather everything in your library that pertains to a particular verse or a particular word and collect that into a document that you can then print or save to your desktop or do whatever you'd like to with it to continue your study. So I'm going to start by just doing a quick auto study on a verse, and then I'm going to show you some details of how to configure it. So let's go to a verse. We're going to use John 3:16. John 3:16. And launch an auto study by tap and hold, select the menu, and then you see we have auto study John 3:16 in the verse menu. We select that, and I just installed some new books, so it takes it a second to load up its options. And this takes us to a screen where we can do some configuration. We're going to skip that for now, and I'm just going to show you the end result, and then we'll come back and mess around with it. So I click on everything to see the results of the auto study, and it goes off and does all the searching that it needs to do in order to find everywhere that verse occurs, and then comes back with its results. So we start out with the Bible with the verse in the selected Bible, and then other Bible translations. I just have a couple Bibles installed, so you just see King James and New American Standard there. And then you have the exhaustive concordances, which shows you the Strong's word numbers that are associated with each English word in the verse. And then we get commentary from the commentaries that I have installed. And I just have a couple of them. But there's still a lot of material there. All right, we get through that, and it picks up definitions from English dictionaries. So this is every word in the verse defined in English. And then we get definitions from the New Bible Dictionary, which obviously is going to have a huge article on God, since he is mentioned in this verse. And we're still looking at entries from the New Bible Dictionary. Now we get to our original language definitions from the Complete Word Study New Testament Dictionary of all of the Strong's numbers that are translated into each of the words in that verse. So there's a lot of that here. And as we scroll through this, we begin to think maybe we should narrow down the number of books that were included in our study. So rather than scroll through all of this, I'm just going to do that. Let's go back to our auto study and select some customization that'll make this report a little bit nicer. Let's start by selecting settings, and then we're going to select each of these different books to choose what we want. For other translations, that's fine. We already are showing the King James because it's our default translation. For exhaustive concordances, there's only one. For commentary, we're just going to pick one of those, so we'll keep Barnes Notes. And English definitions, even though that information from the New Bible Dictionary is helpful, there's a lot of it for this particular study, and for the purposes of the demo, I'm going to take it out. You'd probably want to leave it in since you're actually doing the study, not just making a YouTube video about it. And then for Strong's number definitions, we'll get rid of the Complete Word Study definitions and just go with the default New American Standard Greek and Hebrew dictionaries to pick those up from. So that is the books. Now we're going to look at the order in which these occur. And I want to move the exhaustive concordances down here next to the definitions, because those kind of go together. All right, we're done with that. And now we'll go back and let's do our auto study and see how this looks. So we have our Bibles, we have our commentary from Barnes, there's our English definitions. from the Floridian English Dictionary. Then we get to the exhaustive concordances where we see the Strong's numbers, and then our original language definitions from the New American Standard Greek and Hebrew dictionaries. In this case, just Greek, because we were in the New Testament. Finally, there's a bibliography at the end. So you get the idea of how you can select what you want to use in the auto study, change the order of it, and get the results that you're looking for. If you know anything about HTML and cascading style sheets, you can actually go in and customize the CSS, which is the styles that are used by the auto study, to change the appearance of the results to suit your particular needs. And I won't do any of this because it's a little complicated, but if you recognize what you're looking at, then you'll be happy to see that it's there. We'll just leave it at that. One other thing to point out here is the little button in the upper right corner, which is the output. We can direct that file into the clipboard, or we can save it as an HTML file, or we can print it in a couple of different formats. You need an AirPrint compatible printer in order to do that, but if you have one of those, then you might want to print. Now, keep in mind that these printouts can run several hundred pages, so it's usually not something that you want to do is print all of that out. But the idea here is that PocketBible has gathered a lot of information for you that you otherwise would have had to go off and do by yourself. So now let's look at a word study. And coincidentally, PocketBible, we left it with the word begotten selected. And let's just see if there's anything for that word. So I bring up the menu and do auto study on begotten. Again, we're going to have a similar appearance here. Let's just look at our results. We get the definitions from the Floridian English Dictionary. We get search summary, how many times does that word occur in each of our Bibles, related Strong's numbers, and then Strong's definitions from our different Strong's dictionaries. This time we're going to get Old and New Testament because the word does appear in both the Old and the New Testament, even though we were selecting it from a New Testament verse. And we have the same output options that we had before. So that's a word study. We could also go in here, pick which dictionaries we want to use by selecting settings, and then dictionaries, and we could remove that Floridian English Dictionary and go back and redo our auto study. So you get the idea of how that works. It collects a lot of information into one place. It should make your Bible studies quicker and more effective by gathering up everything into one place and making it easier to reference than if you had to do all that manually.